Welcome, 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 welcome. It is, yes, Walsh Wednesday. Honored to be here with my brother, Joe Walsh. Hashtag no kings, Joe Walsh. Joe, how we doing there, pal?
Hey, Michael, it's always good to be with you. And I'm going to say this not to stroke you, not because I'm on every Wednesday with you, but you are a fucking inspiration, man. I love the way you battle.
Oh, and look who's here to say hi to you, Joe. There you go.
Oh, man, my boyfriend.
Joe.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
How are you guys?
I have, before you guys get started, I have one request. When Lev becomes a super big deal, I want to be chairman of the fan club. I fucking love Lev Parnes.
There you go.
That's all I want.
Everybody loves Lev. Hey, look, I want to turn around and I want to start by talking about, first and foremost, I want to talk about the incredible presser that took place today on the steps of the Capitol. Midas Touch Network, literally uninterrupted, as opposed to what you saw on mainstream or cable news, where they're bouncing back and forth between Trump and the president of Poland, talking about 20 different things, and then every now and then bouncing back to one of these Epstein victims. Let me be very, very clear as far as I am concerned. All right. The fact that they covered nothing except these brave victims, some of whom have been quieted for literally 4 decades. All right. That they were able to muster the strength for all of us in order to ensure accountability, that no one is above the law, regardless of your social status, your political influence, your wealth, none of that. I give them nothing but credit. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful display of unity.
Amen. I'll add this, Michael, before I want to hear from Lev. They are the story. We overlook that, right? Oh, release the files. We overlook the fact that there are thousands of victims here. They are the story. We have to have their back. The other thing I'll add is Fox News did their best not to even cover it today, not to even touch it.
Yep. Yeah, no, it was crazy to watch. We were live streaming it also on a Substack with Midas, but watching the other networks, they did exactly what Trump was trying to do: distract and give it less of a meaning and less of an attention than what it deserved. Because if you think about what we saw today, it was really the first time we heard the actual victims talk about the pain that they went through. And they named, one of the interesting parts about it was when one of the victims said there that Jeffrey Epstein used his clout with Donald Trump, especially his friendship with Donald Trump, especially as one of his, main kind of
it was one of his best friends.
as using that as one of his best friends ploy to do it. And it was extremely powerful. And to hear their voices and to hear some of the stories, and to see also it was interesting to see some of the people up there, which we'll talk about, Well, and we'll discuss it because I have some thoughts on that also. But
by the way, it's so true. Newsmax and Fox News barely covered it, if covering it all at all. You know something, Joe? I gotta say, the first thing that you did as soon as Lev popped up, I love Lev. Next thing you know, you got comments from people like Ludmila, who turns around, I love Lev. No, Ludmila. No, you love Michael. What the hell? What the hell happened? Where's the love? Where's the love for Michael? Well, all of a sudden, it's like Lev goes up onto our Walsh Wednesday episode, and all of a sudden, it's all about Lev. It's all about Lev.
Michael, that's a fair point. Lev, I have a crush on you, but Michael Cohen always has to be number one with me.
Seriously?
You see,
Granny. At least Granny loves me. Look at that. Finally, a little bit of love coming my way. I feel so special right now. Lev, soak up all of these comments.
No, I love you guys.
Hey, you two. Where does this thing go, though? This Epstein files. Where does it go now?
That's a great question. In fact, Lev, take it first, and then I'm going to give you my opinion. Lev
Yeah.
is a rock star. By the way, I've known Lev for many, many years. Many years. All right. Even before this whole bullshit even started, I've known Lev for a long, long time. Lev is a rock star. I'm
Love-
with you 100%.
love
And
the
you
guy.
know what? People don't give you enough credit. I'm going to say that. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. They don't give you enough credit. People have no idea how difficult it is to go against the system, especially when the system is run by individuals that do not play by any rules that you could even imagine. There is, if you're playing, for example, football,
Mm.
and it's one against, I don't know, let's just say the New York Giants. And every time they score a touchdown, because you're one person and they're an entire team, the guy who owns the field, the football, and everything else turns and says, every time you score, I get the points. So then they turn around, they let you run straight through them, and you score thinking that they're going to get the points. No, I get those points too, right? That's the game that you play when you decide to go against this administration. There are no rules. You cannot win. I don't care what anybody says. And yet, there are only a handful of people brave enough to actually stand up and challenge the system in the manner that you did. And you don't get enough credit for it.
I love for those kind words, but same goes for the two of you here, my partners. And I was gonna say in crime, but you gotta be careful what you say nowadays. But I just wanted to say, I mean, really, what Michael says is really true, and I'm humbled by all the love that we get. But today, it's not about me; or Michael.
Right. It's about me.
It's
Oh,
about
yeah. No, it's about the Epstein victims. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no. It's always about Michael, but that we always. But today, definitely, one of the things that while covering the Epstein victims, while listening to what they were going through, and then simultaneously watching what Donald Trump was doing, watching him trying to from even some of the minutia by doing the flyovers while they were having the conversation to disrupt that, to having the press conference, and to the crazy part that while simultaneously, if we had like a split screen, while the Epstein victims, you had literally one of the victims. I'm sorry, I don't have her name, but she came out. She goes, Donald Trump, President Trump, I'm a Republican. And I voted for you. I would love to sit down with you and tell you the experience what we went through. This is not a hoax. And as she's saying it, because we're streaming it, I mean, I wish this, like, I felt like I was in a movie. I'm watching because I was watching also the television, watching Fox play Trump. And Trump has asked that question literally almost at the same time, asked about they're the victims right now, the survivors. They're doing on Capitol Hill a press conference. And the guy turns around and says, we need to stop with this Democrat hoax.
Yeah.
Like, you
By the
got
way, can I just say something for Lev?
yeah.
One of our followers, Lori Pearl, I think was her name, went by quick. She turned around and she corrected something you said. Partners in crime? No, partners in exposing crime. That's what we are.
Good one. Thank you, Laurie.
Right?
That's a good one.
It's a
Absolutely.
great one.
That's a great one, Michael.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lev. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So as we were watching, as this was going on, something really hit me, because earlier today in the morning, I know all of us were talking about, and I wrote also in my Substack, that Trump was putting pressure on the GOP not to sign this. What is it called? What's the proper terminology, Joe?
They're talking about the
It's not bill.
bill in order to put it onto the floor.
Right. Whatever, exactly. That Messi and Rocana put up there.
Yes.
And Trump called up and started putting pressure on them and everything. And as this press conference was going on, and I saw everybody like talking to Trump, like laying it out to Trump, and it came to me, and I said to myself, wait a second. I mean, but it's not in Trump's hands right now. It's in a few Republican congressmen and congressmen too. Exactly.
They need two more, right? They need two more.
Exactly. And I thought,
it's, by the way, so Lev, it's called the discharge bill.
Discharge.
And also, so I want to throw that because you bring up such an incredible point. I want to throw it over to our former Republican, all right, our big Tea Party guy over here, Joe Walsh, right?
Absolutely.
And I want to say to him, can you please explain to me because I can't for the life of me figure this out. You need two more Republicans in order to force this discharge bill, to take away the power from these individuals who, number one, aren't deserving of it, where you have the victims themselves begging. They're not asking. They were begging for the president and for Congress to please pass this bill and or direct the Department of Justice to release the files, whether it's specifically on each and every one of them, so that they could remember for themselves. Remember, some of them were as young as 13 years of age. I mean, you could throw up from this shit. You can't get two people immediately to come forward and say, fuck this. I don't care about playing party politics. These files, like what Marjorie Taylor Greene, I can't believe that I'm not making fun of her in one way or the other. She was literally up there, and her statements were incredibly impactful, coming after a young woman who spoke where I had goosebumps from her comments. I mean,
Mike,
why? Please tell Lev and I and all of our. And by the way, folks, please keep smashing the red heart. Please share this for God's sake. You will never find three people closer to this administration than Lev, Joe Walsh, and myself. I mean, to listen to anybody else at this point in time talk about this administration, you may as well just watch Fox News. You may as well watch MSNBC or CNN or Newsmax or OAN.
Yeah.
Not one person that you're going to see on those stations have the inside track on what was really going on.
Michael,
Go
ahead.
I'm sorry, Joe. Most of them are reporting what we're talking about. Just so you understand, most of them they have their people watching what we're talking about, passing it on, and then they're spreading it out. You got the pundits then running with it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, all I'm going to say, guys, is they need two more Republicans to sign on to this. I think they're going to have a hard time finding two more Republicans. And yeah, that's fucking bullshit, guys. But again, just big picture context. When I say my former party is a cult and he's the cult leader, we all believe that to a degree. Donald Trump, 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago, lost an election in America, refused to accept the result, and then committed crimes trying to overthrow that election. And yet, this party full on embraced him again, nominated him again, are more enthralled with him now than they were before January 6th. So, Michael, it would be rare to see two more Republicans with the balls to come out and do what's
Joe,
right.
let me say this to you then, and I want to ask you, and I know Lev is thinking the same thing because Lev and I speak all the time. If we can't find two Republicans to sign on, and I'm going to be calling on, it's why 1,000 people, it's not going to do it. It's why we need 100,000, why we need 1 million on with us. And it's not impossible. With your help, it could be done. You know what I want to do? If we can't get these documents released, if we can't get two more Republicans, I swear, I'm going to call on Lev, and I know Lev's in, and I'm calling on you, Joe, and I'm going to call on Malcolm, and I'm going to call on everybody. I want to start a petition. I want anyone that doesn't sign on to this needs to be thrown out of office. They need to be ousted. They do not belong in Congress. They should not be wearing that congressional pin, no matter what, that they do not deserve to be a representative of this country. Shame on them.
Yeah.
Not to stand up for victims, for children raped by these perverts and so on, and you can't even stand up for that. You don't belong. You don't belong in Congress. You don't belong getting congressional benefits. You don't belong making decisions for anyone. Fuck them, and we're going to do whatever we can to go ahead, start petitions, start going to all of their communities and basically turning, because I do know that Republicans, Democrats, independents alike, everybody wants to see those files.
So agree with every word you said, Michael. And Trump has gotten generally conservative media now on his side to ignore the issue. Lev knows, Michael, you know, there are still big MAGA influencers that are not on board with Trump on this issue.
Right.
So I go back to this, though. My question. For years before the election, Trump and his cheerleaders were saying the Epstein files is the mother of all deep state scandals.
Yep.
I'm going to release the files once I'm president again. And then he's elected, then he's president, and he says nothing to see here, Democratic hoax. Why the sudden change? That is still, I talk to his supporters every day. A number of them, Lev, are still wrestling with that. There are still a lot of his supporters who don't understand Trump's change on this.
Oh no, me and Michael spoke about it, and we spoke about it on Unleashed. The butterflies are out of the box. I mean, he can't get it back in with this. The way he responded and acted, he blew up Mega. Mega is never going to be the same. There are people, you go on X, you go on other social media platforms, and you see the different, hardcore Mega loyalists or Trumpers that have their separate platforms now, and they're talking. Some are making excuses for him and supporting him, and then you have the others that are now asking these questions and are pointing out his lies and the bullshit that we talk about every day. So the problem is that there's nobody to accept it on the other side. I mean, Trump's giving us these huge wins. When I say politically, and I don't consider Epstein files a win because it's a disgusting thing we're dealing with. But politically, Trump is giving the Democrats tremendous wins with the way he's handling certain situations, even the way he's handling Russia, Ukraine, the way he's handling the tariffs, immigration, the big beautiful bill. All of these things should be tremendous wins, but unfortunately, there's nobody to accept them, and that's one of the things Michael has been screaming about. You've been talking about.
How is this, Lev and Michael? Give me your expert thoughts. How is this thing gonna play out?
So this is what my thought today was. This is where something that hit me while watching this whole thing play out, and that's why I think you're the best person. I'm glad that it's Walsh Wednesday, Michael, because you're nobody better to speak to you about this. So my question to you is this, and this is the thought. We concentrate always on some of the biggest things. When we talk about flipping Republicans, we constantly are naming names like Jordan and Johnson and Marjorie Greene and all these big names. And every time we're talking about something, that has to do with, sabotage or going on, we mention Trump. But we don't mention there's over 200 other congressmen and congresswomen that are out there signing, are not signing, are agreeing, going along with Donald Trump's agenda, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of them are not Trumpers. A lot of them are not hardcore MAGA. A lot of them do not want to be in the public eye. A lot of them are trying to stay under the radar, not even going to be unnoticed because the midterms are coming up and they're very, very in very tight, races, and they don't want to get involved in this Epstein stuff. And because the pressure and the media and nobody's calling out their names, they're getting a chance to slide. And all you hear about is the big names, and the big names like the Johnsons out there, they're fighting. What I'm saying is let's go after all of them. Let's go after the smallest of the smallest, because each vote doesn't matter how big of a name in Congress you are. Your vote, your one vote is the same. And let's and that's why I want to call on every single one of you, also our subscribers. To build this movement right now and help us and start calling out, not only making the phone calls sending the emails like Joe will tell us.
Let me add to that, Lev, because that's brilliant. All right, I want to add something. We're going to know whether or not Joe is right in a day or two. By Friday. By Friday, we will know whether or not the Democrats, as weak as shit as many of them are, whether or not that they were successful in getting 2 more Republicans to vote for this for this bill.
Discharge,
right? The discharge. If in fact that they don't, I am going to compile the list of every nay that came out of that vote.
And blow them up.
And you, Joe, on
Yeah.
Walsh Wednesday, with our special guest again, not to give it away, but his initials are LP. All right. We're going to read out the names on that program next week of every single one of them. And then each week, we're going to spend a few minutes talking about how we can go after each and every one of them in their own districts, because you hit on it, Lev. It's not Democrats alone who want the release, unredacted, of these Epstein crime files. It is Republicans, it is Democrats, it is independents. It is anyone and everyone who believes that the youth of a child in a sex crime ring is wrong. Plain and simple. If you don't think it's wrong, this is not the right program for you. This is not the right community for you. But if you stand on the notion that this pedophilia crime ring and the protection of the rich and the powerful and the political and the financiers, we're going to call every single one of them out, and we're going to figure out how to dethrone them from their positions. And I don't care if it's a Les Wexner whose name popped up. We will figure out how to go after each and every one of them. And by you helping us to grow this community, again, not 1,100, 1,200, 1,500, not 2,000, hundreds of thousands of people, we will shut them down. With your help, if we grow it that big enough, and everybody will be tasked with a job. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to ask people all across the country to help us to effectuate that goal. You know, that's the way that you start to make a right name for yourself. That's the way that you do something. You know, it's enough listening to all these, as they say in Yiddish, Joe's favorite language, this Talmud Chacham, right? This genius of geniuses going ahead and talking about, oh, well, this is a problem and this is a problem. Fuck you, all right? Identifying a problem is just the one small step in resolving the problem.
Hey,
We've
Michael,
already identified the problem. Now it's time to act.
here's the brilliance, Michael, in what you just suggested. I know that you, me, and Lev every day hear from people, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Like, we're all tired of bitching and moaning about Trump every day. Okay, fine. What can I do? You're giving everybody something to do,
Yep.
a real action step.
Yep.
I think
That's what
that's
we're doing. We're
brilliant.
going to create an action plan. And with all of your help, we're going to put it to work. You know, can I ask you guys a question? Because as I watched this presser, I was actually shocked, because Lev was talking about before, you know, what he expected to hear and to see and so on. You know what I expected? Because this presser didn't come about yesterday. This was a planned event for quite some time. The lawyer that was there represents quite a few of the Epstein victims. I was expecting the list that they keep referring to, that these victims, these women who are, why not have already sat down at a conference room table and put together a list of names, the ones that you remember, that you know actually were involved. And if you're not 100% sure, don't put the name down. But if you know who, and remember, not easy for them, and I
Yeah.
give them nothing but credit for their strength, their bravery. There are certain individuals, including some that every day I get kicked in the teeth by people saying, hey, why are you protecting this person? And so on. And I turn around and I say, I'm just not prepared, knowing what I know and not knowing what I don't know, to turn around and to comment. All I want is the release of the files so I can read every single page, and then I can give an opinion based off of those documents. But why not stand
Well,
up there? You have the whole world watching. You're on the steps of the Capitol. You got your lawyer there. You're surrounded by other victims and the press. Why not release some of the names?
I'll tell you, at first I also thought the same thing. And when I was watching it, and then one of the victims did say something and it got to me and I really analyzed it and it made a lot of sense to me. And I understand. She came out and she said, I don't know, you might have missed it because there was a lot going on at the time. She said that because one of the reporters asked a question and said, release the list, because one of them said that they are formulating a list between them. They said, Maxwell might not have or given the list, but we, the survivors, could put the names down and put together a list. And when the reporter asked her about that, she said, and at first I didn't understand, but then it was I really understood what she was saying. She said, "There's no point of putting together a list unless they're going to prosecute these people." And
what about prosecuting them in the court of public opinion?
Well, I'll tell you what, and this is where it is, because we'll get to that. But you gotta understand their point of view from the way it is, because they have to now relive this. They have to now go out and give these names. Some of the most powerful people out there that are being protected by the DOJ, by Donald Trump, by all of this, put themselves out there, and there's no you don't know how this thing plays out. You know what I'm saying to you? So I mean, these women, they're victims, and they have to go out there right now and kind of like prove themselves that of who these, like, constantly, because of the DOJ and the administration are basically calling them liars, because what you said 100% is release the Epstein files, and then they don't have to do this. They don't have to. And this is the whole thing, is the victim shouldn't have to go out there and start naming their accusers and trying to prove because think about it. Of these big names have all of these big lawyers, all of these, crisis management groups that right away go on the attack and go on, and it becomes reliving hell all over again. And like some of these victims said, they were followed, they were, intimidated, they were threatened. Their kids, going to school. For them to even come out there and even, stand there today, and again, I thought it was tremendous credit. And again, at first, I was watching, and I was a little bit like, give us a name or two, like, and from the curiosity point, and from us, like a bystander watching this thing play out. Yes, we want the name, we want to hear that name, but when you think about, like, they're actual victims. These are girls that got raped, they have to relive this. They have to look at name them, go into it. I kind of understood that. So that's my
Michael,
here's the problem,
Michael, you're the lawyer, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think a number of these high-profile names have already been like they can't be prosecuted. So to then name them,
but this is not necessarily an issue as far as legal prosecution.
okay,
The way I see it, at least a portion of the satisfaction that these brave women today received from standing there on the steps is they got to tell a small part of their individual stories. And I just don't think that the story is complete without the release of names. Now,
let me ask you, Michael.
if hypothetically the girl does not remember,
Michael, I'm sorry to interrupt you. As a lawyer, I wanted to ask you a question on that point, because one of the lawyers did mention and say that because of certain agreements that they have,
can't be prosecuted.
Okay,
not prosecute. Hold on. That they can't disclose, they can't talk about, and that's why the easiest way is for them to subpoena and release all the Epstein files, because the victims can't go into some of that. Could that be the reason? Again, that's what I'm saying to you. Like, I don't know. Because they did get paid. Some of them did take money and get.
Some of them probably do have non-disclosure agreements and so on. So yes, Lev, that would be so. However, Not all of them did. Some of the women that were standing there today have never spoken before. And again, this is not just an issue in a court of law. This is an issue in the court of public opinion. And you know what? That's what America wants to hear. They want to know, because for so long, the GOP, this specific administration, and many of the people that are involved in the administration, they sat there and they attacked Democrats for running the largest child pedophilia crime ring in the world's history. And they were so fast. GOP members, Republicans, MAGA, were so fast to glom onto it that they are now themselves furious that they feel that they were lied to. And I don't know the reason. I'm going to call a few friends to find out, because I don't know the reason why more names were not named.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, you two. Didn't a few of the victims today say that they would be naming names?
Yes. And that they're all going to be getting together and putting out a list. My question off of that was, well, it's very, I hate to say it. I don't want to, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's very Trumpy, right? In 2 weeks, we're going to release a list. In 2 weeks. Why? Why not come there today with a list and say, this man raped me when I was 13 years old? Now, some people may be saying, well, it could be defamation, that they could bring a legal action. Well, my friends, let me be very clear. One thing that you learn in law school: the defense to defamation is veracity. It's truth. You cannot be found guilty of defamation if you are telling the truth.
Well, the one thing I will say, and there is, they did come out. They testified in front of the committee. So, and that's why I think we've seen some of the reactions, because I think what they testified in front of the committee, we saw Mace's reaction, storming out of there, crying after what she heard. We saw Paula Luna come out there talking about how people need to go down, that they're wealthy. So I think that today was a huge step, and a lot of stuff, even the fact that we saw the names that, I mean, we're in shock to hear. We got Boebert, Marjorie Greene, Mace signing this, but some of the most biggest Trump supporters out there, Luna, and these, and now these are women that have heard today and yesterday what these women testified to behind closed doors. And I truly believe that this is just the beginning. I don't think they could keep it quiet.
Well,
Go ahead.
also, Lev and Michael, could maybe the victims be waiting to see if the files are going to be released, to see if Congress will demand the Justice Department release the files first and the names?
Sure. All I'm saying is, why not just do both? But again, I didn't live their lives no more than they lived, Lev, yours and my life, in terms of that. So I am not indicting them for not doing this. I'm certain that the lawyer must have had a valid reason. I'm just saying, from a Michael standpoint, I wish that they would have come with a document in hand and say, number one on the list, right? So-and-so and so-and-so, and call them out. I felt it was very similar to, like, and I'm dating myself now. Remember, there was a TV show called Dallas, right, with J.R. Ewing? It was like the part on who shot J.R. You have to wait like 6 months before you found out who actually. And by the way, when they came back at the beginning of the next season, which was like 6 months later, they didn't tell you on day number one. They waited till the very last episode of that season. So it was like almost a year before which the time they told you, well, you saw someone shot JR, until you found out who actually did it. I feel that this is the same thing. And I don't know, I just want some maybe immediate gratification here.
Lev, how do you see this thing playing out now from here?
Well,
will it go away? Will it just go away?
No, I don't think it goes away. I truly truly believe, like we've been speaking about it from day one, that this is his kryptonite, and the way he's handling it, even what he did today, and even what happened today, and all of
Yeah.
these things are more. It's like the straw that broke the camel's back. Eventually, it's gonna come, that straw, but it's piling up, and he's boxing himself into a corner. He's lost a bunch of MAGA supporters. He's lost all of these independent supporters that came over because of this. And now he's starting to lose some diehard Republican seats, like some of the names we named today, like Mace, Green, and Bobart. And so I think, if we keep doing what we're supposed to be doing, and if we grow this community, and if, like Michael said, if each and every one of you don't just take this and listen to this program today like it's some kind of a reality show, but you do your part and spread this information and go out there and give it to your friends, colleagues, co-workers. Make sure that you bring 3-4 more people onto the platform. Make sure you hit that button up there where you see the 3 names, subscribe to all 3. Those of you that can, make sure you become paid subscribers. Contribute any way you can, because this is a fight for our democracy, a fight for our freedom, a fight for our kids' future, our grandkids' future. Because what we're seeing play out is authoritarianism, dictatorships in full effect. And the fact that we have this opportunity because of the Epstein files, because of the pain that these women, these brave women, these girls that went through, and we're able to now take that and use that to take these authoritarians out of office and save our democracy. I think that we will do it. I think we will succeed. But again, we can't do it alone. We need each
And
and
let
every.
me be very clear, too. I want to just reiterate what I said before. I am going to put together an action plan. I am going to put together an action plan, and I am going to demand, not that I have to demand, but I'm going to, that Lev and Joe take this journey, Malcolm Nance take this journey with me, becomes our group thing. We will, as a collective, put together an action plan and ask each and every one of you to help in any and every way that you possibly can. And only through this action plan are we going to see results.
And Michael, and Lev, I hope I'm wrong. I hope before the week's out, 2 more Republicans do the right thing. But Michael, if I'm wrong, then boom, we introduce and enact the Michael Cohen action plan.
Well, I'll come up with a better name for that. That'll incorporate Parnas, Walsh, Cohen, and Nance. It sounds like a law firm, doesn't it? It sounds like a law firm. Parnas, Walsh, Cohen, and Nance.
Let's just name it after my crush. Let's call it the Lev Parnes action plan.
Ah, Jesus,
come on.
Here we go.
Here you look at me. I'm turning on like a fucking purple. I love you guys. But
thank you, everybody.
Subscribe
to everybody. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to all 3 of us.
Yeah. And now more than ever. Listen,
before we go, I have one last question for Lev. Joe, I think you'll appreciate. Hey, Lev, how do you feel about Rudy Giuliani going to get the Medal of Freedom?
Oh, it's so fucked up. You asked that because it's like PTSD for me. Because for those of you that read my book or watched the story, me and Rudy used to sit there at the Trump Hotel talking about how Trump was going to give us the Medal of Freedom, and now Rudy's getting it, and I'm out in the cold. What can I say? But democracy and freedom feels better than the medal,
I mean, he deserves that medal. Like I mean, no.
It would be ironic. We don't talk about it, but it would be the most ironic thing because Rudy does have a state case still going on in Arizona. I mean, yes, nobody talks about it, but that's an actual criminal case there that, election for. That's the one, that's the place where they put that woman to prison where trying to get her out. It was also a state case. That's the one thing Trump can't do nothing about. And how ironic would it be if he gets convicted and has to go to prison wearing the Medal of Freedom?
I got another one for you. What if hypothetically, right after Trump puts it on his neck, and then he's wearing it and leaving the White House and so on. All of a sudden, the cops show up. They take it off
They put handcuffs
because it has a value to it, which has to go to the compensation to the victims that have the judgment against them.
Michael, I'll give you my favorite Hebrew word. It's a shanda. It would be a shanda.
There you go. Joe Walsh, thank you. Lev, take us out, brother, since you are the popular one in this group.
You guys are good. I love you guys. But listen, we joke around, we talk about, but this subject today is extremely serious, especially to all our hearts, because we're all fathers, we're all brothers, we're all sisters. We all have women in our lives that, somehow are related to a situation like this. So I want to make it very clear. Yes, we might joke, we might talk, but we're all on the same page, and that page is to make sure that we release the Epstein files, and all we're using our platforms, our voices to make it happen. But the only way we could make it happen, and Michael talks about it, and people say enough, but if we don't talk about it, it's not going to happen, because 1,000 people, 2,000 people, it's great. But when Donald Trump goes on, or any of these mega influencers, they have hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people on there. So, and they lie, and for us to be able to beat their lie, we need to be twice as powerful. So the only way we're going to do it and win and succeed, and I'm going to repeat it, is we need to build our platform. We need to get you guys out there, and that's not to say I don't want to maybe shun the people that are already subscribers. They're already doing what they can, becoming paid. For you, those of you there, God bless you. We love you. We see you. We know who you are, and thank you. But those of you standing on the sidelines, or those of you that are new to this platform, or just jumping in right now, do your job. Jump in, because this is a fight for our democracy, a fight for our freedom, and a fight for our justice for our kids. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Amen. Thanks, brothers.
Of course. I'll speak to you both soon.
You got it, guys. Bye-bye.